What's up, guys? Today I'm going to show you how to use my new favorite voice AI platform, Retell. But first, check this out.
Hello, welcome to Smooth Transit. How can I help you today?
Hey, I was hoping to get some help moving out of my house.
Of course, I'd be happy to help you with that. Could you please provide me with your full name and preferred contact number so we can get started?
Yeah, my name is John Smith, and my number is 123-456-7890.
Thank you, John. Just to confirm, your contact number is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0, correct?
That's correct, yes.
Great. Now, could you please provide me with your current address? This will help us plan your move more efficiently.
Before I give you my address, can you tell me about the prices you guys charge for helping me move?
Certainly, John. Our pricing depends on several factors, including the size of your move, the distance between locations, and any additional services you might need, like packing assistance or moving specialty items. I can provide a more detailed estimate once I have a bit more information about your move. Would you like to discuss any specific services or details?
No thanks. I think I'm alright for now. Thanks for your help. So that was just a quick demonstration of what you can build with Retell. You can build a wide variety of inbound, outbound voice agents. That was just a demonstration of a moving company. And now I'm going to show you exactly how you can build your own using Retell in just a few minutes. So let's get started. First, I want to go into why you should consider building on Retell, and also why you should consider implementing voice agents into your business in the first place. For starters, using voice agent drastically reduces your operational costs, because as opposed to having customer service staff, humans on speed dial, or large call center teams, you can just have a few voice agents handling these calls for you that can do a wide variety of things, right? They can handle many calls at once. They can have custom functions that allow them to call integrations, schedule appointments, update CRM, do all these things. And of course, there's 24/7 availability, right? Businesses can offer round-the-clock support time without the expenses associated with covering for night shifts, overtime. You don't have to worry about maternity leave, breaks, mental health breaks, these sort of old world human labor concepts, right? We don't need to worry about any of that anymore. We've got voice AI. And of course, there is infinite scalability, right? As your business grows, whether it's taking inbound calls or doing outreach at scale, these voice agents can easily scale to handle these increased demand without significant additional investment, right? This is huge. This technology is just getting started, and it's only increasing in its abilities and computational power, right? This stuff can really do a lot of things for a number of different businesses. And a few examples of what kind of businesses voice agents with Retell could benefit most. Retail shops, people calling about products, store hours, promotions, can easily handle these types of things. Service industries, salons, clinics, repair services can easily deal out information, schedule appointments, and hand off to human counterparts if need be, right? Hospitality, hotels, restaurants, this is Retell's bread and butter, all right? And any other sort of small businesses that would require, might need dedicated customer service. It's a big part of their business model. These can really come in and eliminate a lot of that overhead for human labor and handle these calls with the voice AI, right? And of course, e-commerce platforms, there's a number of different things you could implement there, from order tracking, FAQs, customer support. So there's really only the limit of your imagination to what you can build with Retell voice agents. So here I am with a fresh account, and we'll just run through a few things here. I'll show you how to build your own voice agent. So it's pretty simple and straightforward. Real quick, if you've used a platform like Vappy before, you'll see it looks quite similar, right? We've got agents on the side, the knowledge base, phone numbers you can buy, call histories, billing, API keys, and your webhooks that allow you to call sort of like make automations and doing post-call automations and structured data, things like this. And it has a similar organization structure like VAPI as well. So we're going to click create a new agent, and we're just going to do a single prompt agent right now. What's really cool about Retell is it has a very intuitive multi-prompt agent platform. So you can sort of, if you've ever used something like VoiceFlow for building conversational text agents, it has a similar step-by-step prompting structure to where you can really fine-tune and get really atomized with how you create these workflows for your voice agents. But we won't go into that right now. We're just going to do a single prompt agent, and we'll start from a blank prompt. All right, so here we have everything laid out pretty well. And what I like about Retell is that it's a little bit more intuitive than VAPI, right? I've used a lot of VAPI. A lot of other people have used VAPI. It's very popular right now, but it can be a little confusing setting some of the things up, even without the need to, custom develop things or be a programmer. This is much more straightforward and intuitive, and you can get these settings working just how you want them in just a few minutes. So up here, you're going to choose your model. I haven't really used any of the Claude models yet. And what you're normally going to want to go with is the 4.0 model. It's the best in terms of speed, and the latency isn't as great as 4.0 mini, but if you're doing a lot of custom functions and real-time sort of function calling within your prompts, you're going to want the 4.0 model. Otherwise, the performance of your voice callers is going to diminish if you use a lower powered model like 4.0 mini. And what's nice is they got the real-time beta here, which is very exciting, although unfortunately is exorbitantly priced right now at $1.5 a minute, which is crazy. So I don't recommend using the real-time beta with Retell outside of simple testing right now, unless you want to break your bank. Okay, now we can choose our voices, and there's not quite as many voices to choose from as VAPI, but it's got 11 Labs voices, it's got OpenAI voices, and it's got DeepGram voices as well. And of course, you can add custom voices like from 11 Labs. If you clone your own voice, you can do that as well. For this one, I'm just going to choose the base voice, Mira. And for the prompt, I have a prompt ready, so I'm just going to copy and paste that in here. So this is just a prompt for a made-up moving company, Smooth Transit Relocations. Don't ask me, that's just what the GPT came up with. But for the most part, in all your voice assistant prompts, you're going to want to have some sort of context, which is all the information about the business or the company, right? So the AI knows this. The persona of the voice assistant, so how you want it to act, how you want it to talk, the skills it needs to have. The rules, which is sort of more specifically like what it needs to be doing during the call. Its prerogative, so to speak. So it remains focused on its task throughout the call. And these are even more outlined steps for it to call if it needs to schedule appointments or finalize details, right? The specific actual actions you want it to take, which is typically either handing out information or scheduling appointments, getting info, or maybe even handing off to a human, right? So you want to really outline all that stuff very rigidly and specifically in your prompts. So let's take a look at the settings. First, we have functions. So what's really nice about the built-in functions here is, one, these are some of the most basic functions that you're going to be using in most all your prompts. So they have those ready to go. Okay. Also, what's really nice is that they recently integrated Cal.com with Retell, which is huge because in a platform like Vappy, you would have to build a custom automation, a custom function using, if you wanted to use Cal.com as your scheduling platform to schedule Zoom calls, you would have to use a make automation, and it got really difficult sometimes to make it work with Cal.com and make using Vappy. So this is huge, and it makes things a lot easier when scheduling calls, because you can just put in your Cal.com API key here, and it will check your availability, and you can also schedule the appointments just using these integrations with a few click of the buttons, which was really, really nice and clutch of Retell to do. Thank you, Retell. And your knowledge base, so what's nice about Retell as opposed to Vappy too, is with your knowledge base, you can add documents, of course, but you can now also crawl. You can add your business's webpage, and it will crawl and continually sync this website and all the attached pages to your knowledge base. So this would be especially useful if you wanted to do, maybe create an outreach demo for a company you really want to could use a voice AI, and you want to rapidly create them a demo to use, right, or to show them. You could train the knowledge base and the assistant with their website data, and then also create a quick custom prompt for their business, and then voila, you have a working demo to show them. And I promise you, once you show them, once they hear it for themselves, then their mind's going to be blown, and they're going to want one of these for themselves. So just keep that in mind. Next up, we have the speech settings. So there's responsiveness. You're going to want to keep this high. So this is like how fast the voice assistant will respond to people after they're finished talking. So you want that to be high. Interruption sensitivity. This is just, if you start speaking over the assistant, will it interrupt? How long it takes to interrupt? So you want to keep this at around 8 to 7, I would say. Somewhere like around those places. I like to keep it around 8. Back channeling. So this will make it sound more human by inserting things like for sure, of course, yes, things like this. It will make it sound more human and insert these things into the dialogue before it gives a response. So I definitely recommend including a few of those. Boosted keywords. This is just if you want to add keywords in there to make sure it might say or no, you can add those here. Speech normalization. You don't really need to use this very often. It just increases latency. Disable transcript formatting. So if you need to get phone numbers from people, which you normally do, this just makes it so it doesn't confuse it as a timestamp. So you usually want to put that on. Reminder message frequency. This is just if there's a extended silence, the voice assistant will remind them that they need to say something or something like that. Pronunciation. This is big if you have brand names or certain phrases you want to get right, and you want the voice assistant babbling and mispronouncing these names like an idiot, right? You want to add the pronunciation guide to really fine tune and make sure they're saying these things right, especially if it's a unique brand name. Okay, you would add that into the pronunciation to make sure they get that right. And there's a certain way you do this using IPA pronunciation. I'll make another video going into that, but it's very simple. And you just add that in here so it gets those things right. Call settings. You can have voicemail detection. So if it's an outbound caller, and it reaches a voicemail. It can either hang up or actually leave its own voicemail, which is really cool. End call and silence. So if the person doesn't hang up and puts the phone back in their pocket, you want to set this maybe to 30 seconds or something like that. So, you know, you're not just getting all your minutes used up if this person doesn't hang up. Max call duration. Also, you want to set that lower. I like to keep it around 5 minutes, just so people don't call and just use all your minutes, or if they forget to hang up. Most calls, you know, don't need to be longer than this, so 5 minutes is a good limit. Post-call analysis. So this is very similar to structured data and VAPI, right? This is the information and the data that you want your voice assistant to extract from the call, be looking for, listening for, when it's on the phone with somebody. So that could be their email, their name, their birthday, where they live. I mean, depending on what your business is and the information you want to get from these calls, this is something you definitely want to include. So in that post-call analysis where it updates a CRM, for instance, you'll get all that information and have that automatically updated in the post-call analysis. Security settings. So if you want to be HIPAA compliant or whatever, you can control whether the data that Retell collects is stored or not if it's sensitive. Fallback voice ID. This is huge. So if one of the voice providers is gone down, say it's OpenAI or 11 Labs, you can have a fallback voice. So your voice assistant will still work. So you could fall back to DeepGram, because this is huge if you're building it for an actual client. You definitely want to have this enabled. Otherwise, if the voice provider is down for whatever reason, it's not going to work. And webhook settings. So this is how we would set up a post-call automation with some post-call analysis data. We would send it to something like a make automation. I'll show you how to set that up real quick in a second. Yeah, so that's a quick overview of the settings. So let's go into make and set up a pretty basic post-call analysis automation. All right, so here I am in make, and what we're going to want to do is create a new webhook, custom webhook. We're going to add a new webhook. Demo webhook. Click save. And click OK. So now we're going to copy this address into the clipboard. And we'll head back over to Retell. And we're going to put it down here in the agent level webhook URL. All right. We're not going to put it in the inbound call webhook URL. That's for something else, to create dynamic variables, which is a little more complicated. So we're not going to go into that right now. So we have our webhook here. And to set this up for testing, we're going to want to send some test data to this webhook. But to do it correctly, it's very important that to get the post-call analysis webhook data, right, when it sends that post-call data to this webhook, we're going to want to make sure we click test on the agent first before we click on this redetermined data structure, okay? Because what happens is it sends during the call, it sends data during the call, but it also sends it at the end of the call for the post-call analysis, okay? To get the structured data coming in so we can do post-call automations with it, put it in a CRM, and to test it right now, what we're going to want to do is first call the agent. So we're going to hit test.
Hello, how can I help you today?
Then we're going to hit redetermine data, okay? And then we're going to end the call. And then it should say successfully determined, because that post-call automations came in. And we should have the data ready to rock. So now I'm going to show you how to create a simple CRM with Google Sheets so you can start sending that post-call data to this CRM. Just going to choose a file here. Sheet name, sheet 1, contains header. So now what we want to do is set this up so when that post-call data comes, it automatically populates the Google Sheets. And since we set up the data structure correctly, we should go to our Google Sheets and have all this data right here that we can populate with our Google Sheet. So for here, we want to put the timestamp, in timestamp, and we'd put here the first name and the last name and the email. If we instructed the agent to collect that information with the structured data, right? The call summary, we could just put the transcript here for that. And yeah, we'll just use that as the example for now. So now when we test our next call, this data here should be populated automatically. So let's give that a shot. And before we do that, we want to set up a quick filter here, so only the data that comes through is from the post-call analysis. We go here, event, and what it's going to be called is call analyzed. All right. So only that analyzed data should go through to the Google Sheet. So we're going to put the webhook on immediately as data arrives, so it's running continuously. So it receives each call, whether it's the beginning of call or the end of call data coming in. So let's give this post-call setup a quick test and see what happens.
Hello, how can I help you today?
Hey, I need some help moving.
Of course. I'd be happy to help with your move. Could you please tell me a bit more about your moving needs? Are you looking to schedule a move, or do you have any specific questions about our services?
So this data should have just fired here. And if we look, that data should have just arrived in our Google Sheet. And there it is. We have the timestamp here, which could be converted with a GPT to a more legible date. And then the call summary, which is just the transcript in this case. So yeah, that's working pretty well. And of course you could add GPT modules here and anywhere else to do more fancier things, right, with the post-call summary and everything else. And you could do a lot of cool post-call automations with this, right? CRM updates, sending out emails just from this one setup here with the post-call data. So it's really cool. Yeah, guys, that was just a quick demo of Retell AI and their voice agents in action. I'm going to be diving much deeper into this platform in the very near future, so stay tuned for that. And of course, as always, if you learned something from this video, please like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you.